the content you're creating when you're out on the streets and you're asking these, maybe political questions or just in general, again, bridging that gap between Thailand and Australia and that type of lens. Do you struggle on the creative side, or do you you plan it well, or how do you go about that?
That's a good question. I think I have pretty good creative juices normally. The topics come to me pretty smoothly usually. I haven't got too much creative block. I usually go in with a plan because I feel like if you don't go in with a plan with the video is most of the time pretty crap. Like sometimes I've done some spontaneous videos which have come off really good, but most of the time that's not the case. So I'd always tend to go in with a plan and at least script a little bit, like have the questions that I kind of want to vaguely ask and have an introduction, and I can work around that and ad-lib around that. But generally I tend to go in with the plan. When you're asking me where the creative juices come from, usually if I'm go for a run at night and run 10 kilometers, and usually ideas will come out of nowhere.
Well, this isn't like let's call it a YouTube job interview, but it's a similar question in that sense where, can you tell us like kind of about a time when, you were out on the field and you're asking these questions and maybe something didn't go as planned, and specifically, how did you deal with that and what happened?
I mean, I think the most common thing is just like we saw before, is when audio or camera equipment just stuffs up.
Yeah.
It's happened a couple of times, and it is literally the most soul-crushing feeling ever when you've done and you feel like you've gone out and made this awesome video, then you go off and hear the audio and it's like crappy, or the wires screwed up, or something's happened to it. That is the most soul-crushing thing ever, and you literally have nothing to do except power on. Like you have no choice. You have no choice. Those are the things that usually happen. There's nothing really happened in regards to bad interactions or violence or anything like that when I've been out on the street. Nothing like that's ever happened. Thai people are usually pretty friendly people. The audio thing is so annoying. Like I've had things where I've done a kick-ass interview, or what I think's a kick-ass interview, and then the interview, the audio breaks, and you just can't get it when it's not in the natural moment. It's hard to redo it.
Yeah, no, we're filming a mini series. Well, we did it a year ago, and we're trying to do this thing called People of Phuket. And it's basically what we'll be doing is these type of interviews. So someone like yourself, well, it's going to be mostly for people living in Phuket. They'll come on the podcast, and then we'll go do a day in the life. So it can kind of be video, recommended, and it all connect well. But the first one we filmed like 4 times because the audio on our lavaliers kept like jiggling around because we were doing some running, and like it was just a nightmare. And it's just like, oh shit, the lavalier audio didn't pick up, but we picked it up from this camera, and it's like you can't even treat it, and it's
freaking annoying.
Yeah, and then you forget anything you filmed. You're like, what did we even do out there? Anyways.